The fictional characters known as the Yautja have been presented as an advanced race of alien hunters who navigate the galaxy in search of hunting the deadliest prey. By following a strict honor code, these predators will rise through the ranks of Yautja society, proving their prowess as hunters by initially going through a rite of passage before hunting for sport, then perfecting their skills as elite warriors. It is therefore no wonder that a species whose entire existence depends on the hunt would utilize an array of hunting strategies. Some of these techniques look remarkably human, others mirrors those in the animal kingdom, while some seem entirely alien. In this video, I will explore 10 hunting strategies used by the predators to home in and outsmart their prey.
He's killing us one at a time.
Like a hunter.
Before I begin, I should make it clear that I will not be looking at the weapons, killing methods, or fighting techniques of Yautja, as I have made other videos on those topics. Instead, this video will focus on the methods predators use to draw out and gain the advantage on their prey to increase their chances of an auspicious hunt. Studying your prey. The idea of understanding your prey before engaging it is an essential hunting strategy that all hunters employ. It is essential to develop the knowledge of your enemy's strengths and weaknesses if you're going to be successful in battle, and this is no different for the Yautja. In the original movie, we adopted the jungle hunter's point of view as it studied its prey meticulously before engaging them. In fact, it was not until 42 minutes into the movie that the predator took its first kill. The novelization reinforced this concept, as author Paul Monet wrote. It also noted that the rebel prisoner was a different breed, though it couldn't really distinguish the gender difference from the political one. To the alien, the species appeared to break down into different subsets, like drones and workers. And the blonde man with the massive shoulders was obviously the king, and the slighter figure with the deep black eyes was the tribe's magician. The alien understood all the dynamics. The film's sequel expanded on this concept when the city hunter studied the tactics of the LAPD and warring gang members. By analysing the tactics and strategies of its prey, the city hunter was able to incorporate the techniques of its adversaries into its own hunting repertoire. Essentially, it would adapt its modus operandi to blend into the urban environment and outsmart its quarry. The novelization developed this concept further as it revealed that the Yautja had begun hunting and studying man since the Paleolithic period. When first discovered, they were little more than feral beasts, tribal in nature, unsophisticated, with a low level of intelligence and only the crudest and most primitive weapons. Yet how fiercely they had fought. Even then, when the first hunting expedition had arrived on the third planet from the Sun in this distant system, it had reported that this species showed much promise. And as the centuries rolled by, that promise had become fulfilled. In addition to this, Simon Hawke's novelization reveals that the city hunter's visit to Earth was the result of it witnessing the events of the jungle hunter's battle with Dutch, the first person to ever kill a Yautja. The weapons they had developed were now capable of posing a serious threat. The challenge had become much greater, and in the recent past, for the first time, a human had succeeded in not only eluding one of the hunters from the home world, but in defeating him. Never before had such a thing occurred. The game was becoming smarter, deadlier, more interesting. Humans were no longer to be underestimated. The record of the failed hunter's expedition had proved that beyond a doubt. Therefore, by studying its prey, the city hunter is fully aware of the dangers humans like Dutch possess, and it is for this very reason that it admires Detective Mike Harrigan. The predator watched Harrigan, the battle helmet scanner tracking him as he moved, feeding information into its physionic databank and analysing it with photonic speed, information that would enable the hunter to gauge the speed and reaction time of its prey. On thought command, the scanner zoomed in, increasing magnification as the predator studied the heat-etched outlines and contours on Harrigan's face. The human was an accomplished hunter, thought the predator, a warrior. A good way to test the limits of its own skill would be to test the skill of those he hunted. Finally, In the novel Rift War, Yautja are seen educating unblooded warriors in dealing with a very different and perhaps more formidable prey altogether, the xenomorphs. Katol continued, "What if I hadn't done proper reconnaissance and came upon this overmorph without warning? The facehugger exploded from the top of the overmorph and launched straight for her face. Despite its terrifying speed, Katol's gloved hand shot out and snatched it in midair. What if this had been a hyperfertile egg?" she continued calmly. "In that case, the overmorph might have released multiple facehuggers and my situation would become immediately dire. The facehugger's goal is to impregnate a host with a xenomorph's embryo. It will subdue the host with chemicals that both paralyze it and suppress any immune system response so the hosting body does not attempt to attack the developing embryo." She carried the facehugger over to the smaller isolation container, then slammed the creature into it. "You've been trained to be the best warriors you can. Even so, I can't stress enough that you must continue that training and, in particular, pay extra attention to your reflexes. A single response, if it is half a second too slow, could cost you your life. However, becoming more familiar with your prey is not the only area of expertise that the Yautja must develop while on the hunt. It is equally essential that they gain an esoteric understanding of their environment." Getting to know the environment. When hunting on another planet, the Yautja are already at a massive disadvantage as they're playing on their enemy's home turf. As a result, it is essential that they become more familiar with their alien environment. The first movie suggested that the jungle hunter visited Earth, and Guatemala in particular, for many years, becoming an expert in this hunting ground, eventually earning the status of a local folklore legend as the demon who makes trophies of man. However, the jungle hunter was not the only predator that saw the value in becoming more than familiar with your surroundings. This notion was echoed in Amar Habib's line of the Himalayas, where he explained, "Knowledge of the terrain was the greatest advantage in any war." David Barnett's Hotel Mariposa perhaps stressed this point further when he delineated, "For today, Hintui has been sitting in total stillness, communing with the land. It is important, he thinks, to align with the hunting ground. You must make the territory your friend, your ally." He has seen too many younger Yautja ignore this. They treat the hunting ground as merely the stage on which their glory will be played out and their honor won. The land can be a powerful weapon, and if you do not make it your ally, you risk making it your enemy. Tracking and observing prey. Any of Earth's predators will invest countless hours tracking, stalking, and observing their prey before they strike. As previously alluded to, the jungle hunter spent the first act of the film watching Dutch's team prior to attacking. By utilising stealth and cloaking technology, it blended into the jungle's surroundings, rendering itself almost invisible to its quarry. Combined with their numerous vision modes within the biomask, the jungle and city hunters were able to gain an enormous advantage on their unwary victims, locating them via their heat signatures whilst remaining undetected. The proficiency of their stalking capabilities was so strong that they could use the element of surprise to swiftly and silently strike their prey from the shadows. The combination of the Yautja's natural predatory instincts, use of advanced technology, and knowledge of their target's behaviour make them formidable hunters. For instance, the jungle hunter could even locate Dutch, who masked his heat signature by tracking the trajectory of his projectile attacks. Likewise, the city hunter's biomass filtered out ambient sound to hear the presence of Peter Key's team before scanning through its various vision modes to identify his pursuers through ultraviolet. In 2010's Predators, the character known as the Tracker took this concept to another level by using his hellhounds to sniff out and locate his prey. Additionally, the character known as the Falconer used a small remote-controlled drone to scout the area and locate potential targets. Isolating the victim. Predators within the animal kingdom frequently isolate their chosen prey from the rest of the herd in order to maximize their chances of a successful kill. In this sense, the Yautja are no different and employ similar strategies as exhibited by the jungle hunter who killed Hawkins and Blaine after they left the safety of their group. Although predators do occasionally jump into battle against numerous opponents, this is considered a less skilled approach and can inevitably result in serious injury or death. As a result, the Yautja are more likely to home in on one victim and work their way up the group's hierarchy, picking off each victim one by one.
Danny boy.
Killing easy prey to attract deadlier game. In The Predator Hunters and Hunted, a Yautja deliberately killed some bikers outside of a bar just to attract the attention of more formidable prey like the police or army. This could be seen where James A. Moore wrote, "The locals would see their fellow creatures fall and call in better hunters, better equipped to fight a true threat. He had left a great enough trail of destruction. If that was the case on this planet, they would come for him soon enough. When they did, he would be ready for a worthy hunt." Likewise, the feral did this through the animals it killed, progressively working its way up the food chain. In the novelisation of Predator 2, Simon Hawke revealed that the Yautja saved the deadliest prey until last. Of the warring tribes the Predator had thus far encountered, the one these two humans belonged to was clearly the most powerful. Trophies taken from this tribe would be the most worthwhile, and the one to be the most highly prized would be that of their leader. But that one would be saved for last. First, the other members of this warrior unit would be taken, for that would increase the ferocity of their leader. Therefore, the City Hunter's pursuit of the LAPD and Mike Harrigan mirrors that of the Jungle Hunter's encounter with the rescue team and Dutch, who was left to the final encounter in hand-to-hand combat.
He didn't disappear. He was skinned alive!
Flaying their prey to intimidate victims. Clearly, Anna and the people of Valverde were terrified by the cadavers of their deceased people who were left hanging skinless from the trees. Anna would anxiously recount these events in the original movie.
"We found them sometimes without their skin, and sometimes much, much worse."
Ultimately, their mutilated corpses were what gave the jungle hunter its notoriety as a folklore monster. Therefore, displaying the flayed bodies of their victims is clearly a hunting strategy that the Yautja used to create anxiety in their prey. Flushing out their victims. In the 2010 movie Predators, the Yautja known as Tracker would flush out their victims with his hellhounds. This is a military method used to force the enemy out into the open and out of hiding. Just like a hunter using a spaniel to flush out wild game, the Tracker used his hellhounds to split the group up in order to watch and test their capabilities.
Come on, gorilla, we in Manila.
Taunting their prey. Taunting is another method used by the Predators, and perhaps one of the most infamous examples of this was in Predator 2, when the City Hunter used Danny's necklace to psych out Mike Harrigan. Clearly, this tactic put the detective on edge, causing his anxiety to skyrocket and ultimately make him vulnerable for a moment, which is all a Yautja needs. Mimicking their prey. Obviously, vocal mimicry has been a technique that the Yautja have used since they were introduced in the first movie. On occasion, this strategy would trick prey into thinking a person they know is nearby, which lowers their guard, allowing the Yautja to attack. On other instances, it is used much like the aforementioned taunt to intimidate victims with the ghostly words of the deceased. Using traps and bait. The Yautja are masters in setting up traps to ensnare their prey, employing a range of techniques from tripwires, net guns, and explosives. They seem to possess a profound knowledge of their prey's movement patterns and thus use the environment to their advantage. One of the trapping strategies that I find most intriguing is their use of bait. Arguably, the most memorable version of this was in the movie Predators, where Cuchillo's corpse was used to lure the other targets in. This moment cleverly combined the use of bait with the aforementioned mimicking strategy, as the Predators played a vocal recording of the man's pleas for help as an eerie distress call to the rest of the group. Similarly, A.R. Reddington's short story Trophy from the Eyes of the Demon anthology also shows Yautja combining mimicry with bait. This was when a couple of bounty hunters were in pursuit of a deadly assassin known as the Exterminator, who unbeknownst to them was already killed by a Yautja after crash landing on a barren planet. Upon hearing his SAS signal, the bounty hunters approach his ship, and these are the events that unfold. "Help me," a tired voice called from the intercom. "That's him all right," Alex plodded forward. "Hello?" the voice called out. The Exterminator sounded frightened. "Put up your hands," she commanded. Nothing. "Do it now." No movement. Ray approached the chair and quickly spun it. The Exterminator's glossed eyes and pale skin were a surprise, and already the corpse reeked of rotten fruit. "He's already dead," Ray said. Wanting to hurry, Ray reached for her knife. Before she could start working, a triangle of red dots appeared on the dead man's forehead. In this passage, the Yautja cleverly uses mimicry to lure the victims in, then the deceased corpse as bait to entrap them. However, our next example of this takes the idea of bait to another level entirely. This was through the individual known as Wolf, the elite hunter first introduced in 2007's AVPR. After tracking the residue of the facehuggers to the town sewers, Wolf would set free laser nets to contain the xenomorphs before using himself as bait to draw them into his cunning trap. Clearly, these 10 strategies suggest that the methods used by the Yautja have been attained from hunting a plethora of prey across many planets over thousands of years. The writers of these characters seem to borrow ideas from our own hunting methods as well as those from the animal kingdom. As always, I would want to see more alien hunting strategies for future texts that showcase more unique ways of stalking and killing their quarry. Please let me know which other hunting methods you would add to this list in the comment section. If you enjoyed this video, then please remember to give it a thumbs up and like and subscribe if you'd like to subscribe. Until next time, however, it's goodbye from me. Take care.